Hi, it's Lou from Real Estate HQ. I'm going to take you for a little trip into Bahrs Scrub just to show you exactly why the property prices in Bahrs Scrub have gone as high as it has in the last few years. So we are going in the low section of Bahrs Scrub, which is obviously much lower, and there has been sections of it which are flood affected, but don't worry because those areas are still going to be zoned lifestyle acreage, which has always been the case down here. So this water does go over this section of the road because it's slightly low, but don't worry, there's also multiple different access points from the other side of Bahrs Scrub. So Bahrs Scrub is situated between the Brisbane and the Gold Coast. That is why it's so popular for a lot of families, because it also is not very far from Beenleigh. There is a train station at Beenleigh, and then you've got the major arterial roads, the M1 heading north-south to Brisbane and the Gold Coast, and then also not far away is the Logan motorway, which would you head to the western suburbs. So this particular estate on the left is one of the earlier ones. You can actually tell by the age of the landscaping that was planted by the developers at the time. But as we continue to go up, you can see we're starting our incline into Bahrs Scrub proper. And as a result, there are a lot of developments, and all of those developments are not flood affected. Okay, but because it is sloping, there will be overland water flows. This is why there is a lot of developments where there are easements on each of those titles, because it needs to take into account the amount of water flow so that there is no impact further down in the lower part of the estates. I am driving up into a Brookhaven estate, which is on the left-hand side, but you can see there's more estates on the right-hand side as well being developed. It is quite elevated now, and there is quite a lot of new developments. It looks pretty much like everything else, but what Bahrs Scrub developers have done really well is they have set certain standards in the covenants which provide for a minimum standard. So you can still have the variety of construction styles. However, it has to be to a certain extent. So from what I have assessed on this particular estate without having a look at the documents, I can see that the covenants include rendered facades, preferably ColourBond roofing. I did notice a few roof tiles, but not that many. The landscaping has been very well done. The fencing is consistent to a high standard. There is a few variations, but part of what covenants do is you just can't put whatever you want at the front. You need to get permission to do so and or build it within the guidelines. Otherwise, you will be requested to remove those. The quality of the homes do vary. You've got low set homes, and in this instance, you've got double story properties, very large, and these properties are now north of $1 million. Okay, now if you were to tell me that 5 years ago, I wouldn't believe you, but I've seen it for myself, so I know this can happen. And they're absolutely lovely. So for people to actually invest that kind of money into Bahrs Scrub is indicative of how attractive it is to a lot of owner-occupiers as well as tenants. So the breakup of owner-occupier is 54% to 46% in renters. Another series of lovely, well-built two-story homes, again in an elevated position, capturing a lot of breeze and views to the distant mountain. This is lovely as we're going, and obviously that section of what you can see in the distance has yet to be developed, but as we're going down here to the left a little bit, you can see the part that has already been developed with the roof line in the distance. Now, because there's a lot more roof line and not as many trees, that is a relatively new development as such that has established, and the trees have not yet matured past the roof line.